Hello everybody, my name is Ryan and I am the King of BOOTYFAB, and today's video is absolutely different than the norm. I am inside of my office workshop. I have a room in the basement lower level of my house. It's about 12.5 by 18.5. It's the exact same size as the garage that it's attached to by a doorway. And it was taken over by storage, and I have been working really hard to take it back. I'm going to move the English wheel, the bead roller, a lot of my metal tools in here, and take back my shop. And I've been working real hard at that lately, so I haven't been focused on working on the car and filming content, but I have been doing some cool stuff. I had a really good month in May. Beautiful month. YouTube was amazing to me in May. And I spent some of the revenue. I spent all the revenue on some new stuff for the shop. Some stuff to benefit the channel. And I figured, why not? I got it up and running. Why don't I show you guys? So do me a favor. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. I do some pretty cool stuff around here. I think you'll enjoy it. Like the video if you enjoyed it. You picked up some stuff. You enjoyed your time with me. Or if you just like giving people the thumbs up. And drop me a comment. Tell me what you think. Give me some feedback. Tell me a story. I want to hear about you. Do the whole YouTube thing, because I swear I love every single minute of it. I love the messages, the comments. Guys, I'm having a blast. So yeah, let me show you what's behind me. It's so good. Important cargo right there. Well, my footage is all scattered because this isn't necessarily the video that I was planning to make. I've kind of been taking clips here and there over the last couple of weeks, but what we have here is an Anycubic Cobra. Yeah, it's a filament printer, direct drive, filament feeder, whatever, auto level bed. This thing's great. And right now on Amazon, I think they're regular almost $500 Canadian, on for $430, and they had a $130 off coupon. So this printer was $300 Canadian, free shipping on Amazon. And of course, going to Amazon and ordered up some black PLA filament. I've got some, the wife wanted some, I think, green and black or red and black filament, some silk stuff. I got some bone white, and I have some gray ABS filament, which is going to come up later. I'm not using it right now. And then a box with some hardened nozzles and stuff for later on. Yeah, that's all important stuff for later, but I figured I'd show you before I cut to clips of this thing working. So I've been playing with it. I've been learning how it all works. I mean, the fact is, a 3D printer is basically a little plastic melting CNC machine. It runs on G-code just like any other CNC machine. It's just like my plasma table with a Z-axis, and yeah, really, it's all the same process, thought, track. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I've wanted one for years. I got big plans for it, and yeah, let me Show you some clips here of what I got going on now. Well, that's actually pretty exciting. That's the first thing I've ever 3D printed. So, there we go. I had a printer. Getting my office all set up. Time to print some car parts. So I don't know if any of you have ever seen anything about 3D printers before, but it's not always just as simple as what you program or download. That's just what prints out. Now, in this case, I'm not showing you the finished file here, but we've got an adhesion layer on the bed, and then outside of the actual pieces, because not everything tapers up like a cone or comes straight up, sometimes you need support structures. So, piece that has the crisscross inside, that would be the infill, and you can set your infill percentage. I think I've got this file running on about a 15% or 20% infill. I'd have to double check. But around that, there's also a support structure so that any overhangs can actually print. Now, it'll print some overhangs all right, but not always. So I want this file to turn out the best possible. I've got this programmed with the overhangs. You can kind of see it all coming together right now. It is about 12:30 at night right now. I just wanted to make sure this file got off to a good start. It's the longest file I've run on this so far. And I'm going to bed. I'm going to let this run overnight. And we're going to check back in the morning. It should be getting close to finished by the time I get down here. I think it's got about 8.5 hours left on the print. We're an hour and a half in. Yeah. See what happens. Well, it's 5 a.m. I woke up, figured I'd come check on the print. Let's see, 6 hours, 13 minutes in, we're 65%. And here we go. Now, I mentioned the infill area. You can kind of see on the top here. It's kind of like a honeycomb structure. You can, depending on the slicer, which is a G-code creator, you can change the type of infill in there. Just testing some stuff out. And you can see the support here. This has kind of an organic support all up in there. Well, that's going to break off when I pull this off. Now, this printer has a magnetic build table. This is magnetic and flexible, so I lift it up by this. You'll see it in a little bit. And basically just flex it. This will pop right off. And we can break off all the support pieces, and this cleans up pretty fast. I'll have to do a little bit of work with a knife, but not a whole lot. But yeah, we got well, A little under 4 hours left. So I'm going to go back to bed. But yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit like a kid at Christmas here. I'm pretty excited to see how this comes out. Well, I thought coming down here I would have an hour, but I guess progress percentage to time is not linear. It did not equal how much time was left. It's a good thing I came down an hour early, because 99%, and we are literally up on the very top. There's not a whole lot left of that at all. But it's tough to explain because I don't know how well the camera's focusing. I'm sitting here and looking at the screen and the print. I can tell you, the camera does not pick up how clean this print is. I can't wait to show you this one. So I'm going to let it do its thing for the last couple of seconds here, and once it finishes up, I have the layers on this set to 0.1 millimeter. I think I can go even a little bit finer, but the settings it asked for was 0.2. I cut it to 0.1, which doubles the print time. So this was basically a 9-hour print, 9.25 hour print. It would have been a 4.5 hour print if I had left it alone, but the details wouldn't look as good. So I didn't want to cut down the layers anymore and turn this into a 24-hour print. But yeah. Oh, that's it. That's all. So let's get this off of here, see what it looks like. Well, getting this off of here is pretty easy. I'm gonna shut off the power. This thing's been running for 10 hours at this point, so I'll let it cool down, do its thing, get all the heaters turned down. But this right here, this is just magnetic, so we just pick that up. And now, I mean, if you couldn't tell before, wow, okay, I like that. Okay, I don't have my tripod down here. So the thing is, this is flexible. See? So I'm just going to take it and pop it off the build plate here. And I'll show you how it comes off the build plate and how easy this stuff, just all the supports break off of here. But my tripod's out in the shop. And I don't feel like going out to get it, so I'll show you the after. Okay, so we got all the stuff weeded out of this. And I gotta say, like, the print quality on this, both the model and the print, is just amazing. Now, I've got a few lines that go across, layer lines. You can kind of see them across the top of the nose. And the back, the way I had it set up on the build plate, standing up on the end, that's actually the build plate surface making that texture. But the rest of it is just amazing. When I popped the skull off, you can see the flat piece here, that actually broke off. It printed kind of weird. We were here and I filmed that. But I might glue it back on, I might leave it alone. But I got all the pieces. Now, this is what all of that support looks like once it's pulled out of there. Everything's just kind of in, and I mean, this is like single layer, it's brittle, it's not attached. And then all the horns, and then these little dog bone pieces, they actually go. This file's cool. There's slots right there either side, and And I put the dog bones in, see if these horns all pop on, and see how this all looks assembled. Alright, there we go. It's all clipped together. Trying to get it to focus on these details because it's wild. Like, the definition that's in this for a filament printer is just unreal. Everything clips together though. Like, this was probably scanned off of a real skull. Man, that's a cool model. Yeah, it's gonna live on my desk, that's for sure. So, somebody's gonna ask why I'm showing videos of printing all this. Well, for starters, it's the king of BOOTYFAB, not Ryan Builds rat rods. Second, this is a test print. As you can see over here, there's a couple of boxes of filament here. I got a ton of stuff I'm about to print. I'm about to print some shifters, which I'm going to show you how to mold in silicone, cast in resin. I'm building bucks to make molds to make steering wheels out of resin with stainless frames. I'm working on cable and hose clamps for vehicle frames that'll be straight printed, probably in ABS. And they'll actually be marketed. The printer has so many uses for what I do, and let's be honest, it's fun. I went to bed last night while this was running, and I got up and I had a ram's head. For anybody that doesn't know, which is virtually everyone, my initials are actually RAM. So I've had a fascination with rams since I was a very little kid. I like them. But the thing is, this is just another tool. This is another tool in the shop. The channel is not going to become, hey, watch what I 3D printed. But it's definitely going to be in the mix along with everything else, because once my space, I'm standing in my space, it's a mess. I'm not showing it to you yet. Next video I will. My office is about 12.5 by 22, I believe. And that's about the same size as my garage. Or 12.5, yeah. 12.5 by 18.5, I think. It's a pretty good size for an office. And then the garage is the same size and attached with a door that I'm going to put a bigger door in. But, yeah, I'm rambling. This is cool. I just love staring at it. Yeah, so the 3D printer is amazing. I love it. And you know what? They're so cheap right now, guys. This printer was like $300 Canadian. This is a ton of fun. You don't need any skills to use it. All the software is available online. If you've thought about it, do this. Pick one up. Play with it at home. Make stuff with your kids. Make toys. Make wall hangers for the wife. Just do it. It's a blast. Like, this is cheap fun. And it's going to make some car parts next. Oh, guys. Nice thing about being in my office. See up on the screen. You guys have seen this clamp before. I believe I designed this on video. So this was the reason for getting a 3D printer. So finally, I'm over here making it happen. I'm trying a couple of different orientations. I'm going to try different fill settings. In the end, I'm going to print these out of ABS instead of the PLA I'm printing them in right now. My goal is to market these. I've got an entire lineup I'm putting together. They'd all use the same bolt pattern, pin and bolt size, so that they're all interchangeable, but be able to configure them to whatever kind of lines are in the car and color match them to the car, guys. Like, this will be awesome. I wanted to do it just because I can, but I threw it out to a few of my friends and they were very interested, so I'm going to start running some tests here. I got to build an enclosure for this to print ABS and swap out the nozzle, so I haven't gotten to it yet. And PLA is cheap, so I can keep messing around with it for now. But before this video is over, we're going to see one of these clamps off of here for the first time. Well, there we go, 99%, hour and 42 minutes. This is the prototype clamp. This is the whole reason I wanted to get this printer. Reinvest the YouTube revenue. And it is done. And since I got somebody here, I'll get them to hold the camera for me so I can pop this off the build plate quick. Like that. So this will come off, and I'll grab a knife in a second here. I'll clean this off camera. It comes off the build plate that easy, but obviously I gotta trim this up. I'm gonna have to fine tune. When I print these out for good, what I'm probably gonna do is print them so they sit on an angle like this. It's gonna change the way the layer lines go in, and I end up with more of a finish like this everywhere as opposed to having to take this off. I just wanted to test to see how it all printed out. But we're going to pause the video and I'll clean this up and I'll show you how it looks cleaned up. So once I got all these pieces cleaned up, this would be the frame side of the clamp. And you can see down in the bottom here the way the layer lines lay in, just because you got to stop a layer at some point. You can see that it just kind of changes it there. The sides and the bottom look amazing. Now the idea is this would go on the frame. You drill and tap a 1/4 hole, say, into the frame, and then you drill a hole for the pin, which would locate this. That would stop it from spinning back and forth when you're tightening hardener or fasteners or something. Now the other side of the clamp would look like this. Now you can see I broke off one of these ears. I'll get to that in a sec. I love the finish on the inside of this, but on the outside I don't like how the build plate made it look and how much cleanup it left. And that's set up so that it recesses a 1/4 button head bolt. Now when I took it off, I put it all together. Do this all one-handed. The idea was, oh, here, you hold that right there. Thank you. So the idea was that these tabs would fit into here, and I mean it kind of does. Oh, put it on the wrong side. It kind of does. I mean, that goes into there. That lines up. Now, we've all taken these clamps off in different forms on cars. You know, the P-style clamps. You go down and do the bolt, and it twists the clamp, rips up your line. The goal here was a clamp that when you undo this, it's not going to spin the top because it's keyed in, and it won't spin the bottom because it's got a dowel. It locates it. All the bolt's doing is holding it all together. And I made the tolerances so they were the exact same. Things shrink at different rates. It was a little bit of fine tuning, and when I put it all together, it went together, but you can see how this clamp kind of pushed it out a little bit this way. It's because that was too big, the opening wasn't deep enough, whatever. When I put it together, I went to pull it apart, it broke an ear. So I went back into the file and I opened up that slot each way. I opened it down and I opened it in 0.1 of a millimeter. My printer's in millimeters, so I programmed this Imperial. I had to change it all over to metric. This clamp I kind of designed with the idea of 3 brake lines and a 3/8 rubber fuel line. Now I want to make these clamps so that they fit whatever. 2 fuel lines, 2 brake lines, 1 brake line, 1 fuel line, whatever. I could make these on an arch so that they fit onto a custom suspension link for the 2 buggies. The options are absolutely endless. But what I did is I went back in and I opened up that. I opened it up in every direction so that the next time this comes off, it should just go together. And I reorientated the file so that you can see this will print like this now. I've got them turned up 50 degrees. Now the idea is with the supports that you've seen earlier, the supports will support everything, and I'm not going to end up with, you know, all this stuff from printing it down on the bed flat. Because these parts don't have to look perfect. They're going on the frame rail, but I do want them to look nice. So let me show you how it looks on the printer. It's kind of a different perspective here. When you look at it from the end, you can see that it's up on end. You see the dowel pin there. Can't see the hole on the side because that's where the support went. But you can see it's the exact same clamp other than that. It's got the same 3 small line, 1 big one. Everything's the same. We've got the support in the opening there. But we're going to end up with layer lines that are much cleaner. You can see this is already wrapped over the side. This is currently 86% done, hour and a half in. It took a little bit longer to print this one because of the supports, but also because the wall thickness, so the thickness around the edge there, on the first one it was 1.5 millimeters thick, and we found there was a hollow spot in the ear that broke off. That piece was 3.25 mils thick, so I made the wall thickness 1.75 this time. So that ear, you can kind of see it here, is solid now. Kind of showing you how it goes here, because this is just kind of, I'm prototyping this at the moment. Like I said, this is going to be a product that I hope to be releasing in a whole lot of variations, color match to vehicles. I got a plan here. It's coming up soon. But I kind of want to show you I wanted to show you the process here. How I'm going through, I'm prototyping, I'm making the changes on the fly. And in a couple minutes here, I'll pull this off and I'll show you the direct comparison between these two, which took me about 2 minutes to make the changes on this file. I hit print right away. So these files are literally 2 hours apart off the printer. Now, right away, it becomes apparent the difference. You can see all the way up that rounded section. Layer lines the whole way, instead of that one where it's just got that void in the middle where the layers changed. If we check the other side, got the same thing all over again. That one there, nice clean lines. Nice clean lines all the way up that one, as opposed to that there. So this stuff here, it actually, like, it weeds off pretty easy. I'm doing that one-handed there. I'll have to knock the last of it off with a knife quick, but I'll do that, and then we can see the direct comparison side by side. So we got all the supports weeded out of there. Now, the first thing I want to say is that this one was printed at 50 millimeters per second. This one was printed at 75. I'm prototyping right now. Doesn't hurt this at all to print it faster, but it's obviously apparent the quality. The first one was much better here. However, everywhere else, the shape of everything, when this is printed slower, the quality will go up. Having, you know, nice finished lines everywhere, and when I take them apart, let's see, that's that one. It's pretty obvious again. I mean, it's just better all around. It didn't quite slip together. I'm fine-tuning these notches here. I just skated it over the top of a file. You can see I had to take off just a bit of a kerf. It wasn't perfect. But with that off, this just slips together. Everything lines up. It looks like a finished piece. My wife was pointing out that it's pretty tall for the brake lines, and I can't remember why I did 3 brake lines, and say a 3/8 rubber fuel line in this one. I just figured it was a good representation. I could draw this up so that it had these three tight to the frame. I could shave the distance off. My goal is to have an entire line of these that fits everything. Frame rails mounted to links on buggies. We could use them for hydro steering lines or brake lines. Even on tube chassis cars, I could do similar but have it shaped to a tube. Exact same two-piece clamp, but everything's shaped to a tube for running all the plumbing. I know that's always a pain in the butt on the tube buggies, but I'm super happy with where this is going. I'm going to design a couple more prototypes to print on the PLA. I have some ABS to print these out of, but the ABS is a little more finicky to print, and the printer should be in an enclosure when I get there because it wants the heat, and the fumes are actually super not good for you. But down in the office here, I can vent it pretty good, and yeah. So this is where I'm at right now with this. You know, it's cool. I mean, I think I probably put up that video 9 months ago probably, showing you guys how to design these in CAD. If you go back through my history, there's a video breaking it down. But fast forward to now, and it's a reality. I'm going to make a series of these clamps for my rat rod. I'm going to make some for a couple of my buddies to do off-road stuff. We're going to test them out. And I'm actually going to be putting these up on Instagram soon with ways to buy once they're available, because that was my goal all along, was to be able to print these and sell them and out of ABS. I think these are going to be awesome little pieces. But yeah, I like it. This is what happens when you put the time in, guys. I got a long time into this one. It took a long time to come to fruition, but man, am I excited for it. So that's kind of the basics on the printer and what I got going on with it. I printed a bunch of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm printing stuff for the kids, the wife, my mom. We're having a blast. Like, we're putting some time in on it. We're melting some plastic, kind of figuring out the ins and outs of it. And it's going to change things. I got a bunch of stuff I'm going to 3D print, mold in silicone, cast in resin for the car. A bunch of stuff I'm actually going to print in ABS for the car. It's going to be used a lot, and the clamps and stuff are a product line that I'm working on getting released completely, and I'm super excited to show you guys that over the next, say, month or so. I got some stuff I got to finish up. I got to prove a couple of them, and I got some installed and show you guys how that works. But I'm going to show you a couple other things I was excited about too. I spent a little bit extra money. Got some stuff for the shop that I really needed. And yeah, let's take a look at that too. I've been keeping an eye out for a 220 welder for a long time, and the problem is COVID ruined supply chains. It's near impossible to get anything. I want a decent sized 220 miller machine, and there's nothing, and new is atrocious. And well, I'm a broke backyarder, so I wanted to give this a try, and I'll tell you why. Now, is Vogan, I can't pronounce that if I tried. Vogan, I don't know. From what I've read online, their parent company is Hitbox, which has had some relatively decent reviews. You'll see that this is MIG 185-2 110/220. It's exactly what it says. It's a 110 220 volt selectable machine. It is a gas MIG, which some of these cheaper welders are not. It has a stick lead, and it's a 180 amp machine. And the biggest reason for doing this is that this welder right here was $220 Canadian, which is what, about 12 bucks American. Like, this is a third the price of the Walmart Canadian Tire Special Lincoln 110 machine that I'm using outside. This is so ridiculously cheap. Let me pull it out of the box quick and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a review on it at some point, kind of in the middle of another video, but let me show you what all we got going on here. Now, this was the biggest selling point for me, I gotta be honest. We have a voltage dial and a wire speed dial. You can look this thing up online, Mig I 2. There's info out there about it. We've got a 110 cord that becomes 220. It's got a little stick lead, ground. The whip it comes with is pretty much the generic Chinese whip that comes with everything. It's got gas hose. There's a little 2-pound roll of wire in there too. So the way I looked at it is, for 220 bucks, this thing's got a year warranty on it. If this thing lasts me a year, it holds up and actually lays some beads at 180 amps, I am totally okay with trying this out. And to go with it, I got a regulator from Hitbox. Now, one of these regulators at the local auto parts store is about, I don't know, I think it was about 140 bucks last time I bought one. Hitbox, straight out of China. That was, I think that was 30 bucks after a coupon. This was about 35 bucks. That is a dryer plug adapter to 220 welder plug. The last time I bought these cable ends, I bought the 2 ends and a piece of cable, and I think the ends were 25 or 30 bucks each, and then I had to put cable in the middle to make my own adapter cord to the dryer, because that's what us poor folk do when we need to weld 220. Yeah, so for 35 bucks, you know, yeah, the way I see it, the regulator, the cord, and this cord right here, which is a 40-foot extension cord, it looks pretty decent. I mean, it looks relatively heavy duty. And the biggest thing is that this cord was 109 bucks, which is, typical 25-foot extension cord is 150 bucks Canadian, so 109 bucks for a 40-foot cord. This will get me from my laundry room into my garage, out into my driveway, basically anywhere I need to go. So this cord with that adapter and the regulator was 110, 30, 170 bucks. 170 bucks for those 3 things. With the welder, another 220 bucks. We're talking right around 400 bucks for everything. And only 220 of it's a gamble, because honestly, I can use any of this on other equipment. And you know what? For 200 bucks, I'm going to give this thing a try, because it's tiny, it's light, it's just like my plasma that I have outside that I'm finally going to hook up, since I'm getting my shop all set up and I can hook up my air finally. I got a little $100 plasma out in the shop, and I'll have this little $200 220 welder, and we're going to see if we can make some big sparks with really cheap equipment. And I'm hard on equipment, guys, so I'll tell you if it holds up, and you know, if it's total garbage, I'll tell you. But realistically, for the money, until I find a new miller or something, I'll probably keep it around, throw it on a shelf, because I can take this to anybody's house, and with that and the cord, I'd show up at somebody's house and fix their trailer, their boat, whatever. It's just there. It's handy. And I love equipment. Like, how do you go wrong? 400 bucks for a complete 220 MIG welder setup, ready for gas. Like, sold. While I was shopping, one of my pet peeves when I put the power to the bead roller was I didn't have a master on-off. And I found this switch, which has the 3 terminals I need, because my power supply does have the 3rd prong. I've got it grounded. So I wanted a good, solid push button on-off switch. I think this was 10 or 12 bucks. This is going to go onto the bead roller, which is going to come inside. We're going to mount the electronics for good. Power switch, paint the bead roller, and then it's going to live inside where paint isn't so stressful. And yes, I'm going to grease it for the 2 or 3 of my close friends that keep howling at me. that I really need to put grease to my bead roller. I know I'm lazy. I'm going to get her all cleaned up, treat it good, bring it inside, plug it into the wall, and make some panels. And we have a hot plate. Now, okay, hold on. I'm gonna explain this one to you. Okay, so one of the things that I want really badly, I've always had a big form shaping stump in my shop. I used to use it to make metal flowers 15, 20 years ago. I'm doing it for a very long time, and I always had a stump with this bowl carved into it. And it's funny because I think a lot of us all watch the same YouTube videos, and I was working on this idea for a video explaining how I make a shaping stump and stuff, and Carl brought out his kit, and it's such a beautiful kit and completely the opposite of what I'm going to do, which is drive into the woods and pull out a very large tree stump and make myself a stump shrinking station. It'd be cool, completely different, but every once in a while I think about a video and it's like everyone is listening and the videos come out on YouTube, but I love it. I love watching them. I love watching everybody else do it different than me. Man, there's so many good minds on YouTube. Oh, but I'm going to build a new stump. It's going to stand about 3.5 feet tall. It's going to be carved out. It's going to have receivers to put some dollies in. But one of the things that I really do want is a shot bag again. I've had a few over the years. They are astronomically priced for what they are, and that's before you fill them with shot. And I want lead shot. I prefer lead shot in my bag over sand. And lead has skyrocketed in price, so I'm going to recycle some lead. We live in a fishing town, so there's generally a market for lead weights, cannonballs, all that kind of stuff. I found some very interesting videos online, not only about recycling lead, turning them into ingots, but also how to take lead and make birdshot, essentially. It's not perfect, but it's how to build drippers and make birdshot from lead ingots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that burner, which makes enough heat to do what I want to do as far as I know, and I'm going to build a dripper box to make my own birdshot so that I can fill my own beater bag. And I'm going to recycle some lead to make some ingots to save up so the wife can do her fishing and stuff. But yeah, there's some video stuff coming up about how to recycle the lead and make it all work, and or at least take you through the process of how I did it so you can make your own judgment call if it was a good idea or an absolutely horrific idea, which it could possibly be. But that's the plan. So we've got the printer and we've got the welder, and I got a lot going on. This is a really big room for an office. When it was just my office, it was amazing. We had company up last year, and my office just became storage, and I never got it back. And I've just been content to work outside, but I need my indoor space back, and we're going to shuffle some stuff around. So the next video I should be able to show you my office, workshop, garage. I've actually got a pretty cool setup here inside. And hopefully next video I'm moving the car inside, because honestly, my office is the coolest room in the house right now. It's beautiful. I love it in here right now. It's just the right temperature. Every other room in the house and the yard is feeling like the surface of the sun today. So yeah, that's what I got going on. I wanted to show everybody. It's funny, I'm filming the last couple of things for the video, and I got a message from somebody, you know, essentially saying they're having a time and that my videos help them. And I get those messages every once in a while, and it is absolutely surreal, guys. When I say I love to hear from you guys, no joke. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Seriously. send me messages about. If you have something you want to tell me, you want to talk to me about, send me a message. I try to respond to everybody. Maybe not at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I love you guys. This channel wouldn't exist without all of you. And if I can put a little bit of positivity out into the world for all that this whole experience is giving me, then I'm all for it. So thank you to all of you, seriously. Yeah, next video, I'm going to take you on a tour of the shop, office, garage. We're going to get the car and the equipment inside, and we're going to get back to building because right now I'm pushing hard. I'm working hard at this, guys. I can't wait. So I know it's not the video everybody wanted to see, or maybe you did. I don't know. But thank you for tuning in and hanging out. If you made it all the way through, thank you so much. If you made it all the way through, you probably subscribed. But if you haven't, do me a favor. Hit the little button, you know. Push the notification button if you want. Like the video, drop me a comment, do the whole YouTube thing. Because, guys, I'm here for it. I love every minute of it. And I'm going to see you again real soon.